Good day and welcome to another interesting lesson today on spelling and speaking. Spelling and speaking, and the topic is intonation. And you say the topic intonation. And what are the lesson objectives? Define intonation, discuss the types of intonation, then identify types of intonation in sentences. Can you say them again? Define intonation, discuss the types of intonation, identify types of intonation in sentences. Let us begin the lesson this way. Listen to these questions formed using the same words and state the difference between them. Listen to the questions. They are formed using the same words, so try to tell the difference between them. Divine. When is the match? When is the match? Hilary, having told Divine before, when is the match? When is the match? And you tell the difference between them. The judgment. Follow me properly as I read, because we will read together and arrive at the target meaning. The difference between the questions. Divine forgot that Hilary told him the time for the match. What happened? Divine forgot that Hilary told him the time for the match. Hilary wants to get his attention to the fact that he told him before, that he told him of the time before. But he has not clearly said, like, Divine have told you before. He has devised a technique. He has used the same question Divine has thrown to him. When I sit down with the question, he has changed the last two words with just a pitch. With just a pitch. Let us read. And this has been achieved by a rise in the pitch of his voice on the last word. Hilary has just changed the pitch of his last word. Let us consider what Hilary's question. When is the match? When is the match? When is the match? He emphasizes this word match because he has already told Divine. Now look at Divine's tone. When is the match? When is the match? Listen to Hilary's. When is the match? When is the match? When is the match? This is exactly what intonation does. You may see that sentences may be the same, but they may convey different ideas. That is what I want us to learn today. Definition of intonation. Definition of intonation. What is intonation? If we look at the examples we have just used involving Divine and Hilary, we have seen that it's the same question, but Hilary has used the rising tone while Divine has used the falling tone, and they have communicated different ideas. So what is intonation? Intonation simply means the way the voice rises and falls when we speak. In other words, the music or rhythm of the language being used. When we talk of rhythm or music here, we mean that all words in sentences or all the parts of words in sentences are not read on the same pitch. Some will fall and others will rise for the rhythm to balance. In speaking, the voice tends to rise or fall depending on the meaning or feeling we want to convey. The voice rising or falling is dependent on the meaning, the feeling we want to convey. For example, somebody wants to express surprise, anger, interest, gratitude may not use the same pitch. Intonation therefore indicates the mood of the speaker. Someone who is angry cannot use the same pitch as someone who is happy. There is something you must know, that intonation and stress are closely linked. They go hand in hand. Because with proper stress, intonation comes in without challenges. Thank you. Next is patterns of intonation. Patterns of intonation or types of intonation. One of them is falling intonation. Falling intonation is signaled by this arrow. Falling. The pitch of the voice falls at the end of the sentence. Another one is rising intonation, signaled by this arrow. We see it rising. The pitch of the voice rises at the end of a sentence. The third one is rise, fall intonation. The pitch rises then falls. The intonation rises and then falls. Number 4, fall rise intonation. The pitch first of all falls, then rises. The voice falls and rises usually within one word. We have a lot to say on this, so let me not waste time, but go to the falling intonation. Falling intonation tone. Falling intonation tone. One thing you must know about this is this, the arrow pointing downward. The pitch of the voice falls at the end of the sentence in a falling intonation tone. Falling, the pitch of the voice falls at the end of the sentence. You say with me, the pitch of the voice falls at the end of the sentence in a falling intonation tone. That is great. You must know that falling intonation is the most common intonation pattern in English. The most common intonation pattern in English. This is because it is commonly found in statements. These are sentences that give information. It is also found in commands. These are imperatives. Sentences that give orders. It is also found in WH questions. These are questions that begin with words like what, when, why, how, and they are called information questions. A falling intonation can also be found in confirmatory question tags. Confirmatory question tags, these are questions that are asked after something that has already been known, just to confirm it. It can also be found in exclamations. You know what exclamations are? Sentences that express anger, surprise, happiness. What have I said? That in a falling intonation tone, the pitch of the voice falls at the end, and it is the most common intonation pattern used in English. Mostly found in statements, commands, WH questions, information questions, confirmatory question tags, and exclamations. Let us consider statements as an example. And you read this sentence with me. I would like to go home. I would like to go home. I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute. Now, I want to say something on this, how vibration in the pitch can cause different meanings. Listen to this. I'd like to go home. At such a time, it has become a question or a statement, and it cannot take this falling tone again. I'd like to go home. At such a time, this will go up. I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute. We're back in a minute. At such a time, it becomes a question. Let us consider examples of command as an example of a sentence with falling intonation tone. Commands are also called imperatives or orders. Let us look at the examples given. Show me what you've written. Show me what you've written. Throw that out. Throw that out. Throw that out. But remember, you can form a question from this. Although running from a question, throw that out. At such a time, the out will rise. It will no more receive this falling tone. Throw that out. Throw that out. Let us look at another example in WH questions. WH questions with falling tone. WH questions normally request information. They are questions requesting information, and they begin with who, what, why, where, when, which, and how. Let us consider the examples. Can you read with me? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Why is she angry? Why is she angry? But for example, you have a child, a baby, who is disturbing you, is walking about. Who is heading to a place you don't want? You can ask the child, where are you going? Where are you going? Because the child is doing something you don't like, and that affects your mood. This is how the changes in the pitch of the voice can lead to different meanings. Let us consider the falling tone in the context of question tags that are statements requesting confirmation rather than questions. question tags that are statements requesting confirmation rather than questions. This means that some questions are asked just because the speaker wants to confirm what he has already known, and at such a time the following tone is needed. Read with me. Not all tag questions are really questions. Some of them merely ask for confirmation or invite agreement, in which case we use a following tone at the end. Can you read these questions with these examples with me? You were at home at the time of the crime, were you? You were at home at the time of the crime, were you? Next, she's such a nuisance, isn't she? She's such a nuisance, isn't she? Let us consider the following in the context of exclamations. Exclamations. How nice of you. How nice of you. What a beautiful voice. What a beautiful voice. What a beautiful voice. Number 2, let us consider intonation in the context of rising tone. Rising intonation tone. And look at this. What does this mean that the tone rises? So the pitch of the voice rises at the end of the sentence. Say it with me. The pitch of the voice rises at the end of the sentence when we are using this tone. The rising intonation invites the speaker to keep talking. What does it do? It tells the speaker to keep talking. It invites the speaker to keep speaking. It is normally used with yes or no questions. Yes or no questions. And question tags that are real questions. Remember, in the following tone we say that question tags are used, but they are ones that are not really situated in the context of question tags. They're just meant for the speaker to confirm what is already known. We shall arrive at that. Let us consider yes or no questions in the context of questions with the rising intonation tone. Read these sentences with me. Do you like your new teacher? Do you like your new teacher? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? Do you like your new teacher? The questions both rise at the end. Let us now consider the rising tone in the context of question tags that show uncertainty and require an answer. Real questions. Here the speaker doesn't know anything, has no clue. Look at these sentences. We made them on holiday, didn't we? We made them on holiday, didn't we? Next, they can't attend, can they? They can't attend, can they? We made them on holiday, didn't we? They can't attend, can they? Rise and fall intonation, rise and fall intonation. What do you see here? Rise and fall intonation are signaled by this. Rising, falling, rising, falling. Very simple. The intonation rises and falls. It rises then falls. How do we use it? We use rise and fall intonation for choices. We want to make choices to list. When we're introducing unfinished thoughts. When we're introducing conditional sentences. When we want to sound polite. When we use the rise and fall intonation, we want to make choices, to present choices, or make choices. We want to list, to introduce unfinished thoughts, conditional sentences. We want to sound polite. We also got one of the examples, choices or alternative questions. Look at it here. And you read them with me. Is John leaving on Thursday or Friday? 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 You see that you rise up on this Thursday. Is John leaving on Thursday or Friday? Next, does he speak German or French? Does he speak German or French? Does he speak German or French? Rise and fall intonation in the context of lists, listing things. Rise and fall in the context of listing things. You have rising, rising, then the final one falling. So intonation falls on the last item to show that the list is finished. The last item when called receive the falling tone to show that the list has been exhausted. Can we read this? We've got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges. We've got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges. Next one. The sweater comes in blue, white, pink, and black. I'll take them again. We've got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges. The sweater comes in blue, white, pink, and black. Unfinished thoughts or partial statements. In the responses to the following questions, the rise-fall intonation indicates reservation. The speaker hesitates to fully express his or her thoughts. What I mean by this is that in this case, the speaker is not really eager to speak. He is reluctant. And as such, a time we use the rising, and the falling tone. Look at this. Look at these questions. Just try focus on the responses given by the respondent. Do you like my new handbag? Do you like my new handbag? Listen to this response. Well, the leather was nice. But I don't like it. That is what that means. I will take it again. Do you like my new handbag? Well, the leather was nice. Next one. What was the meal like? The fish was good. What was the meal like? The fish was good. It just wasn't great. That's what that means. Rise and fall in conditional sentences. Rise and fall in conditional sentences. The tone rises in the first clause and falls gradually in the second clause. It rises on the first clause and falls gradually in the second clause. Look at this. If he calls, ask him to leave a message. If he calls, ask him to leave a message. The next one. If you have any problems, just contact us. If you have any problems, just contact us. Number 4, full rise intonation tone. The full rise intonation tone are signaled by these arrows, one falling, another rising. The voice falls and rises usually within one word. The target is within one word. The pitch affects the word. The main function of full and rise intonation is to show that the speaker is not certain of the answer he or she is giving to a question. This tone signals that the speaker is not certain of the answer he is giving or is reluctant to reply. Let us look at this example, hesitation or reluctance. Look at this question. So you'll be willing to confirm that? So you'll be willing to confirm that? Look at the response. Your target should be on this response. Well, I suppose so. Well, I suppose so. Number 2. You didn't see him on Monday? You didn't see him on Monday? You didn't see him on Monday? I don't quite remember. I don't quite remember. Before the lesson comes to an end, let us look at the things we have studied. We have said that intonation is a rise and fall in the voice, that is a pitch. It helps to convey meanings and attitudes. We have different intonation tones. Some are rising, falling, rise, fall, rise, and others. The falling tone is found in statements, commands, WH questions, confirmatory question tags, and exclamations. The rising intonation invites the speaker to continue talking. It is normally used with yes or no questions and question tags that are real questions. The full rise intonation shows that the speaker is not certain of the answer he or she is giving to a question or is reluctant to speak. And lastly, the rise-fall intonation is used with choices to list for unfinished thoughts to express unfinished thoughts and connect the sentences. This is the activity part of your lesson. Access these sites and do the given activities. When you finish, screenshot your answers and submit on the class dojo. These are the sites. Thank you.